Hello, in this tutorial we will learn how to optimally render a 3D image with most important render elements or layers and open it for further editing in Photoshop. The workflow is very easy. If you have set up your V-Ray scene in Autodesk 3ds Max or Maya, you only need to include so-called render elements in order to split the output into different picture components. For desired results and the best image editing, I will add in 3D software a group of following render elements. V-Ray Global Illumination, which will consist of all indirect light shades. V-Ray Lightning, an image layer which has direct light informations. V-Ray Reflections, for a layer which will give me all transparencies like the glass goggles on the robot face. V-Ray Reflections, an output layer with all reflections. And finally, V-Ray Specula, an output image with all light shades on it, or as it is called, highlights. These 5 render elements, or image layers, will later be used in Photoshop to compose a dynamic and modular image, which is much easier to manipulate and retouch. As next, we need to define the image format and output parameters. V-Ray saves by default its frame buffer as EXR format. It is so far the most advanced image or image data format for generating 3D image outputs. It is lossless, it is fast, supports 32-bit depth. It is able to store literally anything a 3D software can deliver. Do not forget to toggle 32-bit output for maximum color depth. Press render, and after a few moments you will see the full image render result. But if you look closer and open the pull-down rollout, you will see all those render passes we have set up. Alpha channel, indirect and direct light, separated reflections and highlights. They are all stored in the EXR file. It is time to open this image in Photoshop. Navigate to the folder with the saved EXR image and open it. If you now see this loader interface with this lightfish or monkfish on the right side and all those options on the left side, then you have free Exr-IO plugin installed, and Photoshop uses it for correct interpretation and importing of EXR data. And if you see this dialog, then you are working with the default inferior EXR loader and you won't be able to see any layers or advanced settings. Please download the free Exr-IO plugin from the www.exr-io.com. All EXR images come as a RAW format and have in most cases no color profile. In one of the next tutorials I will explain the whole science behind the settings, but so far just apply the standard color profile. Photoshop will automatically render the image into gamma corrected color space and represent it as you have seen it last time in the V-Ray frame buffer. From the editing point of view, this is actually not the ideal starting point, since Photoshop is fumbling around with our image data. The imported image, with the help of Exr-IO plugin, looks like this. You can access now all layers representing each render pass from V-Ray. On the top is the RGBI, the beauty pass, the full image. Below, we will now synthetically recreate this beauty pass. I like to move the global illumination render pass to the bottom of the list. As next, I will lay over it the lightning pass. In order to compose them together, I need to blend them using linear dodge or add method, as you may know it from Fusion or Nuke. The same thing goes for reflection, specula and refraction. As you can see, the composed result is absolutely identical to the beauty shop, with one major difference and one huge advantage. We can now access all image components, like reflections or color beneath it, and modify it independently from the rest. We can erase, for example, selectively only the reflections from a part of the image without scratching away color or light. Thanks to full 32-bit color depth, we can let image elements behind the glass go off or shine even more brightly than it was possible using classical retouch methods. If we change the image color depth to 16-bit, we can access all other paint tools and filters which were disabled in 32-bit. Each render pass, represented here as a Photoshop layer, can be now masked out and used to cover or overlay other additional layers. I can now, in this test image, paint color below the reflections, preserving the highlights and color brilliancy. This short tutorial shows only few possibilities how to work in Photoshop with layered EXR images coming directly from V-Ray. With Exr-IO plugin for Photoshop, you can now try exporting other V-Ray render elements like ambient occlusion or curvature in order to create impressive masks for Photoshop editing. Thank you for your attention, and please visit exr-io.com for free plugin and more information.